who subscribed today. Mean the world to me. Thank you, everybody. I don't think at this rate we're going to hit the record. We're at 1,600 viewers. I don't think we're going to hit the record, but still, I'm so happy. This is probably second place for the most viewers I've had without a host. It's only going to get better from here, guys, as the full-time streaming starts, as I organize more events. I didn't organize this one, just to be clear. But as bigger things come, I think the stream, and more importantly, the game, is only going to grow. Hopefully for Liereyy, Viper's lead doesn't grow here. He's Mongols now. He's in the blue. And he's down 3 games. 15-year-old kid versus the best player in the world. You know what? If Viper's going to lose a game, it's going to be on this map. He's playing as Incas, and this is a disgusting map. Oh my goodness. This wood is garbage for Viper. This wood is usable, but garbage. He does have his golds on the back, which is nice. I guess he has this wood he could use as well. But look how open this is for him. Jeez. He's so vulnerable to attack. And to be completely honest, in each game, Viper has had a really good map to wall on. We just have to recognize that. Now, one could argue that Viper just walls better, but Viper has definitely had the better maps for walls. And maybe Liereyy will get a victory here. Or maybe Viper will just say, enough of this, I'm going to call a re. Because he should get a re available. And I think that decision will be made at the very last second if he's going to do it. There's always a potential that Liereyy could call a re. Now, also, what we could see is Viper go out forward and try and lame a boar. And if he steals sheep and a boar, then he's definitely not going to call the re. I think that's why Viper's gone out so early for the lame. Unfortunately for him, though, he's not going to find the boar on this side. The sheep are here, and the boars are back here. Don't tell me Lierey's going out. Liereyy is a good laming civ, but I don't think he should go out. Oh, okay, he knew the sheep were here, he knew the boars were here. I can justify maybe going out to lame then. They have till the 4th minute to call the re, so there's still potential there. I'll talk a little bit more about the civs and what the players can do with the maps if there is no re. Don't want to waste my breath, okay? Viper's probably feeling confident. He's up 3 games, so why call a re? There we go. Game on. Viper's going to play with this map and show us what he's got. Lierey's map isn't the best either. It's very good for early game because you can often just use the wood lines to wall in towards the town centers, and you don't need that gold. As the game goes on, he does have an awkward gold here with a hill, and this gold is also further on. The right-hand side, that hill still exists, or another hill exists, and he has forward stones. But this stone is here if Viper does go forward with towers, and I assume Viper will be aggressive. That stone is there, even though it's slightly bugged, and you can build that defensively. And also, I don't really like this matchup for Incas all that much, because it's not easy for Incas to be aggressive early on versus the Mongols. Viper, you gonna run in here and just steal the sheep? Thank you very much, my friends. I'll take that. And oh boy, Viper at the same time has recognized that Liereyy has a scout here. Don't tell me Liereyy missed it. Oh my gosh! That's just unlucky. He's looking for the boar, and he didn't see it there. That is just unlucky for Liereyy. He was definitely in a position to steal that boar. If Viper had run back, he didn't want to lose the fill, but luck is not on Lierey's side today, I guess. He is advancing. He had his boars. He had all of his sheep but one, and he can maybe lure a deer or two before he starts his attack. This is a very early time. This is the classic 19 pop up with Mongols. And though you can up very fast because you hunt faster, you collect those boars and those deer faster, it is not easy to have a lot of resources available to do something, which is why you don't see the traditional 2 lumber camps that you do on 22 population builds. You're only seeing the 1 lumber camp, which makes it a little bit more inefficient, but the way he's doing it, his villagers are spread out. He also has 2 of these villagers on straggler trees, so he should have the wood for what I assume will be a stable. And here's the deer now. The Viper hasn't even clicked up yet. Viper has an awful map, and that's something that Liereyy should know now. Yeah, he knows that Viper has chosen wood here, so we can assume it's a bad map. Alright. Are we going to see a trush as well? Maybe? Maybe one tower on the wood line? Yep, one villager running forward. Stable will probably be placed in this area for Liereyy. There we go. He's placed it. Viper's gone for the 22 pop I spoke of. He will be going for man-at-arms, though. Now, scout activity defines games at times. Or just where you place your walls. The Viper recognizes that he's vulnerable in this area to a tower. Lierey's actually sending this chick to the right-hand side. I don't know where she's going. I guess instead of scouting this area, Viper's going to wall it off. And after he does this, he's going to make a bad map decent. Yeah, she's definitely trying to build a tower there. So she's going to be wasted going forward. It's a risk to have villagers walling at this stage, but Viper, he's timed it every single game now. Actually, saying that, in game 1, he didn't time it correctly, and the last game he didn't time it correctly, but he dealt with it. The last game is definitely a game that I would call a comeback. Liereyy has gone to place the tower here, and now he sees the walls. Viper does not see the villager. The scouts now arriving. 2 scouts versus 3 militia and an eagle warrior. Viper just now heading feudal. Viper will go for man-at-arms. I don't think this villager is going to offer too much for Liereyy now. Maybe she's going to be the house-building villager because she can't range that woodline with the tower. And like the end of last game, where one player has the faster unit and a horse unit, and the other player has infantry, we'll see how Liereyy uses his mobility. So far, he hasn't been able to use his early advantage. He's looking for the weak vills on the farms. Or maybe he's going to try and pick off the berry villagers, I don't know. But small hiccup there from Liereyy. Oh my goodness. I don't agree with that decision at all. What's Viper up to now with these villagers? Sure, he's played well thus far, but he still knows that his map is not good. This is a good fight for Liereyy. Almost killing the eagle, taking some HP off the militia, running away. Does Liereyy have the resolve to still have his head here when he's down 3 games? Does he know this is coming? Did he see the villagers? He should expect this. This is exactly what we saw from Viper in the Celt game, where he goes with later uptime, gets late man-at-arms after adding spears. And this is actually a build I have not seen Viper use in his rated 1v1, so he's probably saving this a little bit. Okay, Viper fighting with villagers, losing some HP. Liereyy getting some free hits. Still going to be dicey for Liereyy. He has to bring his vills into the equation. 6 scouts. Viper. Get to the hill, villagers! Get to the hill! Villagers going to need to be tasked in these fights, of course. And the key for Liereyy is to kill the spears first and foremost. If he does that, he should be able to focus on everything else. And this engagement has gone wonderfully for Liereyy. I think. I think. Because the scout HP is pretty low. And now Liereyy will lose some villagers here. Oh man, so tough to call those engagements. I'd say maybe that was 50-50 as Viper sends forward another man-at-arm. Viper gonna kill the scouts now. Yeah, it went well for Liereyy for a moment. I mean, still Viper has villagers forward that he's not really able to do anything with, I guess. Awkward for both players, but you do need to pay attention, and you know, this is just Liereyy not paying attention. He's lost another villager, needs to send this one away, should save it. 29 villagers for Liereyy, 30 for Viper. Viper has had villagers forward, and they are just going to go back to the economy. I'd say advantage Liereyy there, but nothing crazy. And actually what I like about this for Liereyy is Viper is very much depending on his spearmen now. So, if his spearmen get focused down by the skirms that Lierey's creating, if Liereyy gets to 4 or 5 scouts again, keeps the skirms alive, the spears for Viper will not contribute too much. This also opens up that opportunity for Viper to add in his eagles, and those eagles will counter the skirms. I love how there's so many different options for players at this stage of the game with the new civs. You know, because still, I can make an argument for either player. If Viper is able to mass his eagle warriors and keep his spears alive, I say advantage Viper. But here, Liereyy going to kill a spear for free, and these villagers are going to have to run away. Viper's gone to early stone. He's placed a tower here. I also saw he's starting a tower there. It's smart to build towers when you have an open map like this. Now Micro begins. The man-at-arms and the Eagles versus the skirmishers, while the skirmishers go versus the spearmen here. Spearman's now down. Liereyy does have lower HP on those scouts. He's lost the scouts. He'll kill the man-at-arm. And that should be the end of this engagement. Viper got his tower up. But still, I liked the trade better for Liereyy. He killed spears, he killed man-at-arms, and he killed an Eagle Warrior. And he's going to kill the deer, which everyone knows means the victory is yours. Still can threaten Viper even though there's just towers here. I think a lot of players would become more passive instantly after seeing Viper build these towers. But I don't think he needs to be. I think he can fight underneath these towers if he has enough scouts and uses the skirmishers to kill all the spears. And Viper will recognize that himself, of course. And he's going to wall where he can now. But all the pressure, again, just like last game at Viper's base. Viper was able to come back last game. It was an amazing comeback, let's be honest. After the losses he took early on, I think most people were calling the GG. Actually, chat was blowing up with the GGs. But you can't call it early at this level, guys. You just simply can't. And of course, you're going to have more confidence in Viper in situations, but even when Lierey's behind, he does have the skill to come back. The ranged units won't offer much to Liereyy now. He's going to get Bloodline, so he is going to invest in more scout upgrades. And, oh, he's going to have 6 scouts. Okay. So, Viper's pretty much fully walled on the left. He's trying to full wall and force everything into his town center. Viper is unable to fight this now. He cannot counterattack. He needs to survive and go for Plan B. Plan B for him, well, it's going to be the Castle Age, I imagine. I think Liereyy should be aggressive here, but he doesn't know what we know. He doesn't see Viper has done what he's done here. He doesn't know how many spears Viper has there, how many Eagle Warriors. And Viper is counting on that. Now, Liereyy getting wheelbarrow around the same time Viper is still down that one villager. It's pretty much perfection ever since the early fight and the early Vil loss. Liereyy will likely lead himself up to go 2 to 3 stable knights in castle with elite skirm, which is eerily similar to what we saw him do in the Magyars vs. Celts game. Only this time Viper will, though he may add pikemen, he's going to be eagle dominant. Viper building a market, and oh, these villagers. No way. No way. It felt like that scout was over that palisade, and somehow the scouts didn't make it in. Clutch timing from Viper. We're going to say that a lot today. Liereyy doesn't want to engage underneath the tower, even though he does have bloodlines. This is still a victory for Liereyy in my book, because he's forcing the opponent to quick wall, and he's causing some idle time. All of this adds up. I know this is an awful example. This is an awful thing to reference when we're talking about 2 of the best players in the world here. But the other day I was playing Slam, and I talked to him afterwards. And in that game, Slam was pretty much doing just this, and it was a huge annoyance to me. I brought it up to him, and he said, yeah, it was his intention. It's important to keep scouts alive in this situation, to distract your opponent. And especially now, as Lierey's on his way to Castle Age, I think he does have an advantage here. Viper, woo woo woo. Great job. Viper has a slower unit, and he doesn't want to lose these Eagle Warriors. Viper is on the way to castle himself. The question is, will his walls and will his towers give him a safe haven from what will be elite skirmisher and knights from Liereyy? Liereyy has a lot of resources. He did get the last defense upgrade. Also, he got forging, so he's going to have the +2 defense now that he hits castle. Very strong units coming Viper's way, and a siege workshop from Liereyy as well. So again, Viper's going to invite pressure. He doesn't have a lot of military, honestly. You'd want more Eagle Warriors at this point if you're Viper. This counterattack has not done anything for Viper. And the Knight's now streaming forward for Liereyy. Viper building his 3rd barracks now. This is all he has in the way of Eagle Warriors, guys. And Liereyy is being aggressive from early Castle Age, not sitting back, not building extra town centers, but being aggressive, which was what we like to see. That's what Viper certainly expects at this stage. Viper's really not in a position to counterattack with his main army. I think he'll research pikemen, honestly. Which normally is a sign that you're behind. I think he's going to have to go pikemen. Yeah, pikemen and eagle warriors. So in the Magyars vs. Celts game, Liereyy made the mistake of adding the skirmishers too late. Or any ranged unit, really. Way too late when he saw Viper go pikemen. So I think here, he has the pikemen forward. He's potentially learned from his mistakes. And the Palisade Wall only has 250 HP. He should try and force Quick Wall out of Viper or try and get in here and kill these vills. Viper does not have a lot of wood. He's built a TC, but way back there. And he's going to build a second tower on this wood now. Okay, so let's see how this goes. This is what Viper sees. He doesn't see the army. He doesn't know the skirmishers are there. Liereyy has not upgraded them. He's put all his resources into night numbers. And this is where Viper's thinking, I can fight this. This is just a couple Mangonels and scouts. And Liereyy says, surprise, buddy. Oh, we'll keep it the PG version this time. And now Viper does not want to fight this. Getting Bodcanero purely for his towers now. Let's see how this goes. No skirmisher upgrades, only 4+1 on the skirms. Skirms are extremely weak to these eagles as well. And if Viper's going out in a counter, this guy has balls, man. Is he seriously going to counter? Is he determined that this is a position to counter in? I guess not. He thought about it. He knows he needs to do some counter damage, but he's not in that position. He lost the barracks. He'll likely lose this barracks as well. He's building additional production buildings, so he is so far behind. Again, just waiting to take a fight, potentially win a fight, and maybe his extra TCs will pay off in the meantime. I don't know. It's so hard to calculate. I can't say that Viper's doing anything wrong in this position now. I think he still needs to be a little bit greedy with the boom. But also, at the same time, you know, one could argue that Liereyy should probably start adding town centers, but who can tell him he's wrong for being as aggressive as he is right now? I don't think that I could say that with good conscience. I think that this is still a great position to be in versus Viper. But, oh man, Viper has the eagles coming around from behind. This is Viper's point of view. Nice little dodge there as the Mangonels will die, and they're going for an attack round on the eagle warriors. Again, Viper has a lot of pikemen here, and the skirmishers for Liereyy are nowhere to be found, but the night numbers, enough for Liereyy. This is where he needs to transition, though. This is 110% where Liereyy needs to transition into more ranged units. Because if he doesn't, he could find himself in the same position he was in earlier. He's banking on just having the numbers. Better position for Liereyy. Great cleanup for him. He did take 3 Mangonel losses, though. It's actually exactly what happens in that other game we keep referencing, where he lost 3 Mangonels and ended up losing. But this time, Viper doesn't have the numbers. And Viper going to take another bad engagement here. He's had to quick wall once more. And he's running away from his gold. The villagers are dropping underneath the tower for Viper. Liereyy might just have enough here as more knights stream in. More Mangonels, more skirmishers even. Viper with 30 plus idols. He's down in villagers. He's down in military numbers. And this might finally be the game. I think it's well deserved if he gets it. It might finally be the game that Liereyy wins. The Viper not giving up yet, but this TC's idle. This is a mess for him. This TC also not creating villagers. He has to buy food if he wants to keep creating vills. We have an intentional switch into cavalry archers for Liereyy, so he's had the time. And he's getting Bodcanero as well. Mangonel will probably die, but nice attack round there. The Viper is certainly behind now. Well, let's look at Lierey's economy quickly. Still one town center, so you never know. He's adding an additional archery range. I don't think there's any plans for Liereyy to add more town centers, which could be bad. Viper has the score lead, but I think he's... It's so hard for me to calculate games when I think Viper's going to be behind, because Lierey's not applying pressure. Liereyy doesn't have extra TCs. So Liereyy continues to pull back and not be in the positions that I think he would be in normally. And I don't... I'm trying to defend myself a little bit here, but explain my reasoning. I normally am not wrong when I say, like, okay, such and such is in a better position. But I think when it's Viper, he calculates it so close to the vest that, you know, oftentimes I'm just not used to seeing Viper in those positions. I'm used to seeing Viper in the aggressive position, and I don't know. Still, Liereyy on 1 TC, he needs to continue to do damage now. If he doesn't do damage, Viper will have more eco over time. Or Liereyy needs to add his own economy, but don't think he will do that. I guess depends what you guys favor. Do you favor the Knights and the Cavalry Archers, or the Eagles and the Pikemen? I still would favor the Cavalry Archers and the Knights, but this is what happens. What happens when Eagle Warriors find the Cav Archers. Now Viper might assume, he just sent his Eagle Warriors here, he might assume that Liereyy has town centers here. He does not. He just has a ton of production buildings. This is honestly how Age of Empires 2 should be played. Look at all the units being spammed by Liereyy. But what is he doing with them? He's not doing a lot. Cavalry Archers have no defense upgrades. Cavalry Archers really aren't that good unless you get Thumb Ring as well, which is just not reasonable if you're going to be creating Knights too. This is Lierey's scouting. Liereyy has scouted that Viper can't take much wood here, but Viper has a TC. He has scouted that this wood is important to Viper, and Viper towered it, and he scouted this wood. So I think he's going to try and pressure the left-hand side. But I don't know, guys. It's still very close. The Viper has a score lead now. Has a few more military units. Gonna get a free Knight kill. And now Viper sees the Rams. This is where Liereyy fights this. I think that Cavalry Archers without Thumb Ring are going to need so much micro, and I don't know if it's reasonable for Liereyy to do this. He's focusing down the Pikemen with the Cavalry Archers. The Knights don't want to get anywhere near this. Maybe now this is where the Knights engage because a lot of the Pikemen died. The Rams will soak up a little bit of fire for Liereyy. Just watch the Knight numbers for Liereyy. That's the most important thing for him as he micros the CA. And there's just so many Eagle Warriors, but it's so close, so tough to call. Viper even sending out a monk now. Liereyy has cleaned this up. Let's see what the spam is like for both players to replenish their forces, though. Oh, Viper gonna lose the monk without a conversion. The Cavalry Archers still in numbers. 30 military for Liereyy, 19 for Viper. The Viper now, I mean, just creating out of every production building. That's why he doesn't have the resources banked up. And Liereyy pushing in, getting a little bit of map control once more. Idling the economy and forcing the monk into the TC as well. And here's the one battering ram remaining for Liereyy. The Viper maybe wants to trap this army? And Lierey's gonna get on top of the hill, run away. These Eagles are so strong. But so are the Knights versus the Eagle Warriors. So this is a pretty cool game of counters. Now, Lierey's in a better position, I think, because he has a ranged unit behind his melee unit. But it's just down to how these Eagles fare for Viper. And they are not faring well versus these Knights. Viper has taken 2 fights now over the last 5 minutes that he has lost. It is unlike Viper to not be in a position to counterattack. It is unlike Viper to be losing those fights. And I've seen Viper use the market as well. It is unlike him to use the market frequently too. So he does have all of his golds available. And he's doing what his Civ would be doing in an ideal situation as far as the unit choice goes. But Liereyy has had the time, he's kept his Cavalry Archers alive. He's getting Thumb Ring now, which means he will fire so much faster. And this seems like a game that Liereyy should finish off, but Viper is not going down without a fight. Like, holy cow. I was pretty sure that Liereyy had it convincingly a while back. I was wrong. Liereyy still on 1 TC. Still on 1 town center. Unreal. He's going to make a push for this TC as the Pikemen approach. Mainly Eagle Warriors for Viper, though. Building a castle here to hold this. Such a crazy game, guys. Such a crazy game. This is Viper's point of view. This is what he sees. This is his town center. This is big portion of his economy area. They're gonna lose the TC. Will lose some villagers. Needs to scramble this castle up. Should be able to distract enough to get it up. Even just going to this gold. He's gone to the gold because he knows he'll send the eagles and the castle will go up. And Lierey's not going to attack there. Those vills jump out of a burning TC where their friends and family have died. Where their religious leader is trying to defend them and convert. And they just go right back to work. Unreal. And Viper has a lot of eagle warriors. Lots of cavalry archers and knights for Liereyy. On the bright side for Liereyy, he's kept Viper off this wood. Viper doesn't have a lot of wood left here. Viper playing very well with a garbage map, let me say. Still only one town center for Liereyy. He has no intention of putting any resources into a boom. It's all going to be attack for him. I'll remind you guys, Viper has the gold. Oh, the splits from Liereyy, but there's two Mangonels here. He didn't see the one. Viper now has protection. Maybe, just maybe, he'll get into a position to click up to Imp. I don't think Liereyy is planning on Imp himself. So I don't think Viper can afford to click up. I mean, still, Viper is just trying to hold, let his extra TCs pay off for him, and then get Elite Eagle and win the game. Liereyy is being a pest. Tried to send in a few knights to kill the Mangonels. These guys are so good here. Also, Liereyy sent in his knight to kill the monk randomly. The attention to detail is crazy. Viper even converted that as well. I can only imagine if you're watching their point of view right now, you'd be getting dizzy. They're moving so fast. And now I think it's really down to the Mangonels for Viper. I think if he gets good shots like that, I mean, ideally it'd be versus the Cav archers, but with 3 Mangonels, he could do a lot of damage. Lierey's micro! He's gonna go for the Mangonel. He's gotten it. He's still gonna end very close to the Eagle Warriors. He lost maybe 2 cavalry archers. Alright, now Viper will probably lose the Mangonels to knights that'll loop around. Cavalry archers patrolling in. Viper has so many Eagle Warriors though. The Mangonel also got a great shot before it went down. Who's going to take this fight? It seems like Lierey's going to take this fight as more knights come in. The cavalry archers are stronger than they were before. But now, the knights have all withered away. Viper's still going to run back. Hard to judge for the players too, I'm sure. Oh man, this game is amazing. These guys deserve to be in the final. Deserve to be in the big stage. It gives me severe anxiety every time Liereyy runs forward with his cavalry archers. I wish he would just slow down a little bit with that. I'm just waiting for him to receive a big shot once again. But you know what, guys? 1 TC Mongol play from Liereyy. He actually is only slightly behind in Vills. He's gonna kill this Mangonel. He's adding in Light Calf now. Both players going to use all their gold at this rate. Viper, he doesn't have gold here. And honestly, Viper doesn't have the map control to get to the additional golds, like this one here. This one, Viper has not scouted uncharacteristically. So if this is a full-on Castle Age fight, as long as Liereyy keeps the knights alive and keeps the map control, I think you got to say advantage Liereyy. But you know, every single time he wants to go in with the Rams, he loses them. Which is a waste of resources. Viper has had more idols, even though he has a few more villagers. Truly an insane game. This is one of the best games from the tournament, if you ask me. And credit to Liereyy for the style, but credit to Viper also for surviving. And look at the Light Cav. He doesn't want to give his opponent free gold kills. Light Cav gonna finish off that Mangonel. Well done, Liereyy. I thought Liereyy had ballistics earlier. Guess it was wrong there. Notice how Viper's using the TC to attack the cavalry archers and not the ram. Anyway, ballistics will be completed now for Liereyy. He's still trying to pressure the TC. I don't know if he needs to kill Viper to win this game. I think he just needs to hold. Make sure those extra golds are locked down. I don't know if this push is really worth it because he's losing precious HP at times. Look what Viper's doing. He's trying to get a surround on the cavalry archers. Unfortunately, the cavalry archers are faster. But just time and time again, Liereyy loses the knights. These Mesosifs are so freaking strong. Liereyy needs to regroup here. I think he's He's making a small mistake here with the cavalry archers. Viper... You know what? Lierey's done an excellent job. Nice micro. Gonna kill another Mangonel. Viper doesn't have the eagle numbers. Viper doesn't have the gold now. Man. That's... I'm gonna say it again. I think this is a position where Liereyy wins the game. Because Viper doesn't have golds. Liereyy has the golds. Liereyy has the map control. Liereyy had 45 military. 18 for Viper. I still freak out because Liereyy sacrifices so many expensive knights in those fights. But... Liereyy still has that map control. Liereyy still has the best position. Viper actually running away from this wood line as well. He's been selling wood, if you didn't see. And selling food even, to get the gold. And probably selling some stone as well. We're going to lose a few villagers that are out here on that stone. Now, I want to look at Viper's scout. See, look at this. He is going to find the gold. This is what I'm talking about. He'll find that gold. He's scouted elsewhere. He's running around with villagers. He's desperate for it. He's gonna miss this gold, unfortunately. But Lierey's not there yet. Liereyy... Still on town center. He has stone there he can take. He's... Oh my goodness. Liereyy also has not scouted those golds. So it's possible if Viper finds the golds, it is possible that Viper could maybe, just maybe, hold on and win this game. It would be one crazy victory if Viper wins the game because of the losses he has taken. But look at the KD right now. Viper's not going to see this, I guess, but Liereyy doesn't know about this, and Lierey's completely out of gold. Unreal. So now it's important for both players to keep their armies alive. And I don't see this game going to Imp. With the amount of army that's out for both players, I think if you click up to the Imperial Age, if you can even find the gold for it, it's too much of a risk to put those resources into just an upgrade. And that's a big, big economy loss for Viper. I thought that was a lumber camp. That's how bad the wood situation is for him right now. I still think Liereyy has the numbers of the cavalry archers where he can kill the eagles, and it's very difficult for Viper to create more eagles. Great attention to detail from him to send in light cav time and time again to kill the Mangonels, and yep, he should... Okay. Again, curse the commentator. No attention to detail there. He should be able to kill that. The Vipers found the gold in that top corner, but Viper's TC might go down here as well as many of his villagers. Viper's 29 villagers behind. He has a lot more idols. The guy won't die, but I think he's lost too much momentum now. I just don't see how this gold can bring him back into this game with the amount of map control he still has given Liereyy. The fact that Liereyy is scouting the other areas of the map now. He's just following the crumbs here. The trail of crumbs, the trail of outposts to find Viper's village. Viper's on that stone. This TC's down. Those villagers will die. Viper's calling the GG. And what a game there. 57-minute game. Viper was on the brink of losing for what feels like 30 minutes there. Oh, geez. You know what? You know, if you're Viper and you're losing that game, I don't think you can be that disappointed in yourself. If you last that long, I don't think you can be disappointed at all. And not to mention that it is now 3-1, but Liereyy deserved that victory. He played well in the first 3 games. Viper just ended up beating him. And Liereyy will have a little bit more confidence now going into the next game. I will show you the achievements. Quick shoutouts, Rubadi and Cody Lynn, thank you for subscribing to the stream. There will be no alerts on the screen for the subs during the games because of the tournament here. I do appreciate all the support. I appreciate the numbers of people here. And if you do enjoy my content, subscription is always the best way to help out. But here's the KD. And there's the resource difference. Like, Logic would have told you. There you go. Logic would have told you that Liereyy was going to add extra town centers at some point there, right? But I think he understood that if he stepped back for just a moment with his unit production, that Viper was going to get an opportunity to push back out. So he just didn't. He didn't put any more resources into extra town centers. All right, it is 3-1 now, and these are the civilizations they have left, if you didn't see the civ draft.